Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the December 6th, 2022 Board of Selectmen meeting. May I have a roll call, please, Ms. Wertz?
Patricia Wertz here, Judith Whiteside here, Alan Slavin here, Ronald Bessie here, Jared Chadwick is not here. Also here is Mr. Sullivan, and that's who I see.
Thank you. May I have the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll ask you to lead it, Ms. Wertz, please.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Announcements, Mr. Bessie, please.
None this evening, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Slavin, announcements.
Okay, first, I have an announcement. January 10th, second Tuesday in January is the deadline for applying for Community Preservation Act funds. Forms available on the Wareham website under Boards and Committees, Preservation Committee. That's one. We had a Christmas parade on Sunday due to the weather switched over. It was extremely well attended. I think there was something of everything for everybody there. It's probably the biggest parade Wareham's had since the celebration back in 2014 with a 275-year anniversary. Tracy, who ran the parade, made sure that I couldn't throw candy. I promised I wouldn't, but of course everybody else in the parade did. So I guess that didn't work out too well at the end of the day. And one thing just for the public to know, I had a procedure scheduled for today. The hospitals right now are maxed out with beds, emergency room, etc. So just to let you know, you need to be careful with the COVID and everything else that's going around, because there's a real extreme shortage of available beds. If you have to go to a hospital, have to stay overnight. So just to let you know, it's a problem in our area as well, from here all the way through to Fall River. And I think that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wertz, announcement?
I don't have anything for this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can you mute yourself, guys, the two of you? Thanks. I have a couple of things. Mr. Slavin mentioned the parade, which was awesome, although I didn't see it. I've heard a whole lot of people about it. The Stuff a Cruiser and the Stuff a Bus programs were, again, big successes. And I think what they really show about Wareham is that Wareham as a community is a very caring and very loving and very generous community. Apparently the cruisers got 4 trailer loads of stuff that were taken to, help me out here, not to Damien's, but to, gosh, help me, guys. They were taken to the recipients. So that's really important to recognize, is how generous this community really is. I had the misfortune of going down Cranberry Highway the other day, and then I called Alan up and I said, whoever designed this highway didn't have the size of trucks or fire engines or anything in mind, at least in my opinion. I'm not a traffic engineer. However, I complained about a couple of things, and so he got an answer for me. The fire department has asked for signage on Route 6 and 28 because the fire station on Main Avenue does not recommend that signage be installed on Cranberry Highway. So there's some issues there. The fire department requests the driveway slopes be corrected to allow for access. And Mass DOT has reviewed the driveways and will extend the limits of driveway reconstructions to lessen the slope, because some people are bouncing on those. And then the unsignalized median left turn near Waterways, you have to have really guts to try even to turn there. So they're going to change that one. And there's a circle in front of the Eastern Bank. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Anyway, those things are being addressed. The WRA had a hearing the other night, on Thursday. It was very well attended. There were some great ideas. I want to point out that the Wareham Week article is incorrect. It said that the Wareham Redevelopment Authority had plans to take properties by eminent domains. That's not the case. The Redevelopment Authority is exploring options, and that's, I think, what needs to have people understand. And then the last thing, very good news, is that the Oyster Fest will be returning to Wareham on May 28th of 2023. The permit application is in, and the police department has already agreed that the issues that might happen can be coped with. So that was a great draw. It stopped because of COVID, and so that will be coming back. So those are exciting things. And now we will go to appointments and reappointments. We have before us the Library Board of Trustees, a term to expire June 30th, 2024 for Peter Gold. And Peter, I guess maybe you can speak if you unmute yourself, or if Bob unmutes you. And with us, we have Holly Van Nest, who's the chairman of the Board of Trustees. Sarah Corbett is also here. She's a member of the trustees. And she is here not to speak, but to be in support. So Peter, can you speak or not? Miss Van Ness, I guess you're going to have to do it. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me speak on Peter's behalf. Peter Gold was approved unanimously by the Board of Trustees for us to submit his request to you to appoint him. We are very excited to have him come and work with us. He has a lot of skills in marketing and communication that we are looking forward to having him join the board and help us. He's also been a long time, very great supporter of the library in general. So we hope that you will approve his appointment so that we can have him start working with us. So thank you.
Thank you. I guess if any one of my board members has a question of Ms. Van Nest that you, or for Mr. Gold, that she could ask, or she could answer probably, but he has shown interest, and that's the important thing. Anyone, Mr. Slavin, do you have questions or comments, sir?
Just
No,
add, it does look like maybe he's not muted now. If maybe Peter
Peter, can we
speak
hear
now.
you?
Hi, can you hear me? I'm
Yes. Can you identify
excellent.
yourself and let us know why you would like to serve on the Board of Trustees?
Sure. My name's Peter Gold, and I'd like to serve on the Board of Trustees because libraries have always been important to me. And I think that it's important as a community member of Wareham to volunteer and contribute my effort. I think I can be useful. And the library is a place that makes a lot of sense to me.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Slavin, you had your hand up. Do you have any questions or comments for Mr. Gold?
No question for Peter. I've met with Peter and we've talked off and on probably at least 4 or 5 years. And Peter, thank you very much for stepping up. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Does
Appreciate
anyone
that.
of my other members have any questions or comments? Please just raise your hand. Ms. Wertz?
So I would just like to say that I have interfaced with Peter substantially over the last couple of years in his involvement with the town. He had very exceptionally creative input when we did the WRA outreach project in terms of what he would like to see Wareham Village look like, and also a lot of very creative information on communication, etc. So I'm glad to see you here, Peter.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank you very
Trish.
much.
I appreciate that.
And do any of you have any further questions or comments? Then I will accept a motion.
I make a motion that we appoint Peter Gold as a Board of Trustees member until a term to expire on June 30th, 2024.
I have a
Second.
motion made and seconded. Is there any further discussion on the motion? I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
Yes.
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes,
and myself, yes. Thank you very much. It is unanimous. Mr. Gold, you know that you have to take ethics training and open meeting law training, and then you can get sworn in.
I
And
do.
okay, great. So thank you
Yeah.
very much.
I'm
And
looking forward
Ms. Van Nest, how many more trustees do you need?
Well, our bylaws say that we can have up to 9, so Peter makes 6. We have 2 other people, one person both who have submitted applications and are sort of working their way through meeting with us because they're coming to 3 different meetings. Whether they continue, we don't know yet, but so we could actually take 3 more people total.
Great.
And I
Thank
would
you very
just
much.
also add that Peter and I are meeting on Saturday for me to start his orientation process and make sure that he understands everything, some of which you just talked about.
Great.
So,
Thank you very much. Thank you
Thank
both very
you.
much.
Thank you all very much,
Have a nice
I
evening
appreciate it.
too.
Yep.
and have a nice holiday if we don't see you before that.
Thank you.
You
I'd
too.
like to jump forward to item 7A, which is the discussion and possible vote regarding the closing of Lindsay's Family Restaurant, 3138 Cranberry Highway, East Wareham. The Board of Selectmen, as the local licensing authority, must make a determination of what time frame the license can be held. The license has been renewed for 2023. So I see that we have Sherry Lindsay and her daughter Debbie Lindsay. Would you ladies choose to address the board?
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you.
Do I speak or do I speak? Hi, Sherry Lindsay here. Coming before you to find out information on what to do next. Obviously, this is the first time I've ever shut down a restaurant, and you know, it's just a tough time right now. So we're going to sell it. It's on the market, and we don't know if a restaurant's going to buy it or buy the house, the 4 houses and the land. We were just advised that if possible, since we already had, renewed it, if we would be able to keep it, and then when the time comes, bring it before you again to transfer it if there is another restaurant involved. And so we just wanted to submit that formally with you all. We're kind of still in shell shock a little bit that we're even going through this, but just want to do everything by the books. As I know my mom has always tried to do throughout the years and through COVID, and just trying to keep up with that same theme. So any help or insight that you all have would be great.
Thank you. The
Very good.
process is exactly what you've described. You would ask us to hold the license in abeyance, or we would call it in our pocket, for a time specific. This is something that we have done before. It usually is done on an annual basis, so that the license has been issued. And yes, if you find a buyer for your restaurant, you cannot sell the license, but you can ask for it to be transferred. Okay. You would make that request to the Board of Selectmen. We would hold a hearing and then take whatever action we thought was appropriate. So yes, you're doing exactly what you need to do.
Okay.
Mr. Slavin?
Yes, what my recommendation would be, based on what we've done before, since I don't think this property will stay vacant very long, is to give them up to 1 year time frame to hold the license in abeyance. And of course, the person who ever buys it, if they want to continue a restaurant, look for a liquor license, they would come before us, actually asking for the license itself for the transfer.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Was that a motion?
That will be the motion, yes.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
I second it.
Thank you.
Just one other comment we haven't really discussed, and maybe Sherry can enlighten us. We've had a lot of, when I say a lot, we've had a substantial number of people that have bought, gift certificates, received gift certificates, and they're concerned about how that's going to be honored since it's not a bankruptcy type of thing.
Yes, so we've been working with our advisors. Officially, it was only just 8 days now that we've closed. So we've just been trying to, again, it all was very sudden for us as well in the back end. And so we've just been working with our advisors to figure out what we financially can do. So we reached out to a lawyer. Right now, financially, again, not a bankruptcy issue, but we did want to make sure we could pay our vendors, pay our employees their last week's paycheck plus their PTO. We wanted to be able to do at least that, although we wish we could do much more. So we've discussed
I just recently put a post on our Facebook page. I set up a separate email for people to come to regarding their gift cards. So right now we are working in a 3-month span of time. It's about $10,000 worth of outstanding gift cards that we're actually able to financially do at the moment. We are doing that person by person, individually responding to everybody and working through that as we speak.
Thank you.
I
Appreciate
appreciate that. It takes a lot of the stress out of, calling the selectmen, telling us we have to do something, which is really not in our ballpark, but I'm glad you
Right.
stepped up to take care of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further questions of the individuals? Hearing none, I will ask for a roll call vote. There is a motion to approve holding it for 1 year in abeyance, which would be through December 31st, 2023. That motion made and seconded. I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
Yes.
Mr. Bessie,
No.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
myself, yes. The motion carries. The license will be held for 1 year. And if you have any questions, just please call the office. Thank you for the explanation. Mr. Sullivan, did you have any questions, or you had asked, you had indicated you wanted to ask a question?
About the gift cards. I think that's really helpful for people, especially those most recently. I'm sure that was a big uptick in purchases. So I think that's-
Yeah, we wanted to address that. Again, I know it doesn't seem this way, but it was, like I have repeated, very sudden for us, but we have always held ourselves as an upstanding establishment, and we care very much about our customers and our employees. And
Don't
doesn't
believe
seem-
50% of what you read.
I just,
I'm just saying.
we're devastated by this as well. I mean, this is 40 years of her life and was going to be what I thought was my future. And we just wanted to do something right by them. So thank you. And please, there is on our Facebook page, if you have access, there is an email there that we've created specifically for these kind of inquiries. So if it's easier for you all to just give them that email, it's lindsay's1948@gmail.com. And that's where we're handling all those inquiries. So you can kind of pass them off to us.
Thank you. The other thing you might do, Ms. Lindsay, would be contact the Wareham Week newspaper and ask them to just put that, or you could do a letter to the editor with that information, and that would be a possibility for you. Thank you both, ladies, very much for appearing before us tonight, and you're all set.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Have a nice night and have a nice holiday. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like we have a very lengthy agenda, and we do. However, Ms. Wertz is all set on the firing line. Ms. Wertz, liven up your voice there. You're muted, my dear.
Probably better to have me muted, but in this case, I'm not. We're addressing item 6A, and I move the renewal of all year-round common victualler licenses as listed under item 6A on the agenda, numbers 1 through 16, except for number 3, subject to completion of all inspections and paperwork.
It should be 13.
Excuse me, except for item 13.
No, it should be a list through item 13 with the exception of 3. You read the exception right. Okay,
I'm going to read it again, just so we have it right.
Okay,
I move the renewal of all year-round common victualler licenses as listed under item 6A on the agenda, numbers 1 through 13, except for number 3, subject to completion of all inspections and paperwork.
thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion. Just, I'm not picking on the language, but we really should include for the year 2023. We also, when we do this, chapter 140, Massachusetts general laws, just to make it official.
She just did. That was her motion, and you seconded it, right? Is there any
Yeah, no.
further discussion on the motion?
Never mind.
Thank you.
Just
I
I'm sorry, just a quick question. With the exception, what is the exception for number 3?
The exception for number 3 is that they have not yet completed compliance with a special permit from the planning board. And until that has taken place, we should not be acting on
Okay,
it.
no, I just wanted to
That's
make
fine.
that clear. Thank you.
Thank you. I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
Yes.
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
And myself, yes, 400. Excellent. And the second one,
The second one is I move the renewal of all year-round common victular, all alcoholic beverage licenses as listed under item 6B on the agenda, numbers 1 through 28, subject to completion of all inspections and paperwork for the year of 2023.
under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws. Wonderful motion. Mr. Slavin, is that a second?
Sure is.
Okay, excellent. Any further discussion on her motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
Yes.
Bessie,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
myself, yes, excellent. Item C.
So item
6C.
C, I move the renewal of all common victular wines and malt beverages licenses as listed under item 6C on the agenda, numbers 1 and 2, subject to completion of all inspection and paperwork and for the year of 2023 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Motion made and
That was
seconded.
her.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
Yes.
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
and myself, yes, thank you very much. Next would be D.
Next is D, is I move the renewal of the year-round club all alcoholic beverage license as listed under item 6D on the agenda, number 1, subject to completion of all paperwork and inspections for the year of 2023 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
Yes.
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
myself, yes, 400. Number E, item E.
I move the renewal of the year-round inn holder all alcoholic beverages license as listed on the agenda under item 6E, number 1, for the year of 2023, according to under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
Yes.
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
myself, yes, 400. F, please, Ms. Wertz.
I move the renewal of the year-round Farmer Series pouring permit as listed on the agenda under item 6F, number 1, for the year 2023, under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws.
Second.
Both of you were waiting. Is it a contest to see how long you can wait? Motion made and seconded. I will go for a roll call vote. Hearing no further discussion. Mr. Slavin,
Yes.
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
and myself, yes, 400. And item G, please, Ms. Wertz.
I move the renewal of the year-round retail packaged goods store, all alcoholic beverage licenses as listed under item 6G, numbers 1 through 14, for the year of 2023, under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
Yes.
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
and myself, yes, 400. And number H, Ms. Wertz.
So I move the approval of the extension of the seasonal common victular wine and malt beverage licenses as listed under, and I believe these are combined items 6H and 6I on the agenda for the year of 2023 in accordance with whatever it is now.
You don't need that on this
Massachusetts
language.
General
just
Laws,
spelling
Chapter
extension, right.
138.
Yeah.
Oof.
Okay, so you have motioned both H and I together.
I, yes.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Should we, so just on the motion, she said for the year of 2023, do we need to signify that it's only until January 15th of 2023
Yes,
and not for the entire year?
correct.
Well, the extension of the seasonal only goes to January 15th. If you want to be more particular, that's fine. And that
Should
was
be.
part of your motion, Ms. Wertz, right? And it was part of your
Yes.
second, right, Mr. Slavin?
Yes,
Thank you for the clarification. Hearing no further discussion, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
yes,
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
and myself, yes. J, Ms. Wertz.
I move that we approve the application of the Gleason Family YMCA for signs for a holiday craft fair
And the signs.
to be held on December 10th, 2022.
Thank you.
second,
Second, okay. The placement has been, they're all in the places that they are allowed, so just to clarify that, is there any further discussion on the motion to grant? And no, hearing none, we'll go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
yes,
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
and myself, yes, excellent. We've already done 7A. We are going to hold 7B and D aside because we do not have a full board this evening and because it entails appointing a member of our board to something, okay? A possible member of our board to something. Item C, 7C would be discussion and possible vote to extend the golf committee appointments to a term to expire December 31st, 2024. As you probably remember, when it was first set up with the town meeting, it was to end December 31st of this year. The committee consists of 5 members. There are currently 4 sitting members. I believe that they have been a good, I'll use the word buffer, but they've been a good conduit for discussions between the town manager, town administrator, who is the manager of the golf course, and items that may come up from our contracted company, Sterling Golf. So I would ask that those be, I asked Mr. Sullivan if he thought that was a good idea, and he said yes. So I would ask for a motion to do that.
So I would make a motion that we vote to extend the golf committee appointments to a term to expire on December 31st, 2024.
second,
Second.
Okay. Okay, motion made to extend and seconded. Any further discussion? No, hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
yes,
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
and myself, yes, thank you. And next would be to accept a donation under 7E, Ms. Wertz.
I make a motion that we accept a donation to the Wareham Free Library in the amount of $50 from Sharon Shestak, excuse me if I say that incorrectly, for children's books.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
second,
Excellent, thank you. You did say it correctly. Motion made and seconded for the generous donation. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
yes,
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
and myself, yes, thank you very much. And F, Ms. Wertz, which would be a donation from the Friends.
I make a motion that we accept a donation for the Wareham Free Library in the amount of $2,000 from Friends of the Wareham Free Library for the operating expenses for the Spinney Memorial Branch. Spinney, is that correct?
Finney, yeah,
yes, second,
thank you. Motion made and seconded. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
yes,
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
and myself, yes, so 400. They had a very successful book sale last weekend, and they continue to do a great job of supporting the library. And Ms. Wertz, the 7G.
And so I make a motion that we vote to approve an FY 23 curbside commitment in the amount of $2,524.60.
Second,
Motion made and seconded to approve the curbside commitment. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none. Mr. Slavin,
yes.
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes,
and myself, yes, 400. There is no other business to come before us. And somebody, one of my friends, told me that it was Turning Point that I couldn't get through my head for the contributions to the Stuffa Cruiser, which is a really wonderful, great community support. Town Administrator's Report, Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me just bring up, Patty had asked me to advise everybody for trash services that the time of year has arrived for anyone who'd like to change their trash services. You do not need to do anything if you're keeping the same program or service in 2023 that you had in this year. Applications to apply for seasonal services, senior service, or opt out of services are available at the town's website at www.wareham.ma.us/trash-services. So you can look it up right on the town's website. Additionally, the frequently asked questions section has been updated. And if you're unable to find what you need regarding the applications, so this is the applications themselves, please call my office, 508-291-3100, extension 3110. And for questions regarding the actual service themselves and transfer station stickers, please call the Municipal Maintenance Department at 508-295-5300. I'd also like to remind everyone and thank the Board of Selectmen for keeping the rates of the service the same as this current year for next year. I know it's a big help to people given all the increases that they're facing everywhere else. The next item is Wareham High School play banner. They're going to be putting a banner, the Wareham Viking Theater Company will be putting a banner in front of Town Hall for their next play. And their next show is She Kills Monsters. Sounds very intriguing. December 9th at 7 p.m., December 10th at 7 p.m., and December 11th. They didn't have the time, I'm assuming 7 p.m., but please double check. And that's at the Wareham High School Auditorium. So usually the Board of Selectmen votes on that, but if you've got a problem, by the time we have our next meeting, it'll be over. So I snuck that one past you.
No, you didn't. I passed it on to you today.
So just an interesting thing. I was at the I was able to attend the tail end of the Christmas parade and then the some of the festivities thereafter. And it was really exciting to see everything come together and the great job done. Got to spend some time with Mr. Warren, Danny Warren, go over his project. And actually my daughter Maggie, I think, has the claim to fame to be the first one to dance on the decking over there. So
I love it.
yeah, and Danny said he would give me a great deal if I pre-booked for 20 years down the road for her wedding. So she told me no, don't do it. So and it was really great, and that's what sort of plays into the next thing. We did have what I'd consider our first Grinch episode, if you will. And a tree was stolen from the veteran section over at Bessie Park. So that was really too bad. But I thought about it, and if somebody's in the circumstance of doing that, I think the only thing I can say is that I hope it brings them the joy and blessings of the season, and we move on. We will have that filled and taken care of tomorrow, so that the person who's reserved that spot will not be impacted. I don't believe they had any decorations on it. So the next item I have is that the next Board of Selectmen meeting, I'd respectfully ask to be put on the agenda for a vote to approve 1.1 million from the Plymouth County ARPA funds for the Narrows Force Main project. That is the project that just passed October town meeting. So those funds, we have 4.4 million allocated, and these are pretty specific. So I'm going to bring some other items up forward to you because stormwater is another one. And Mr. Menard's got some pretty big stormwater projects, which can be costly, but I'd like to start utilizing these funds and just giving the board a general thought on what we can utilize those for and getting some direction, including some tourist base and nonprofit base for it.
Thank you, Mr.
also-
Sullivan. Would you just put that in an email to me and with copy to Cassandra?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We also have the CDBG funds, which is interesting. If you remember, the community development block grant is completely off cycle due to COVID and some of the hangups. So we approximately have 2 years worth of funding for projects to expend over 24 months, but realistically 18 months for the reporting. They had the public hearing on that last week, which is good. And it was requested to send out to boards, committees, and departments. And that's kind of what the public hearing's for, but I don't think doubling down never hurts to get some more input. I don't think that it's going to be interesting. I think you're still only allowed the 5 maximum for nonprofits, or if you will, public services. So still a lot of restrictions. So I've asked them to meet on this as well and to get some more input. So hopefully this could technically be an impactful round.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And did you get your Christmas lights up?
I have my Christmas lights up, and I must be doing something right because my kids put my shoe out last night, and St. Nicholas gave me some nice chocolates. So not that I need them, but at least somebody's got a positive vibe out there, right?
I love it. That's great. Are you done with your report, sir?
Yes, and just so you understand where I rank, the dogs also got treats from St. Nicholas. So.
Okay, that's wonderful. We will go to liaison initiative reports, board's comments. Mr. Slavin.
We'll keep it simple today. Yesterday, the Freetown train station, the brand new one that was just completed, they did a ribbon cutting with the governor, lieutenant governor, and Secretary Tesler and a few other people. And at the same time, when that was going on, the new incoming governor set up a transition team for transportation. And I just want to announce that Tom Cahere, former state representative from Bourne, who actually runs the Cape Cod Rail Transit Authority, who is a good friend of ours and who I worked with to get us the Cape Flyer originally, made a comment today in the newspapers that he hopes that in addition to this, that the spur from Middleborough to Buzzards Bay will also be part of that project, and he's looking forward to doing that. Also, the executive director of Serped was appointed to a transition team as well for transportation, which gives me the abilities to also lobby hard for the train piece as well. So things are looking up, and hopefully Chapter 90 monies that which we're continually arguing for the state for more money will be able to increase that as well. That's it for today.
Thank you. Mr. Bessie, do you have any liaison reports, the initiative reports?
Nothing today.
Thank you. Ms. Wertz?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. I already reported on WRA, which was what I was going to report on. So there are no other items to come before this meeting, and I would.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It is not debatable, so I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin to adjourn.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Bessie.
Yes.
And Ms. Wertz.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Good night, Wareham. Thank you very much. Stay safe. The next meeting will be on the 20th of this month, and that will be the last meeting this year. Good evening.
Stay healthy, everybody.
Stay safe.